Hi, welcome to Dynamics with Danish. Today's topic is components in Canvas app. Here we will be looking at how to create a component in Canvas app that can be reused. So let's get started. You would start with a blank Canvas app. Once you have the blank Canvas app open, you would see a tree view over on the left hand pane. Now notice that you don't have any option over here for the component. So if you go to insert, you don't see a component section over here, or you don't see a component over here. By default it is switched off, so we have to switch it on. So to switch it on, you have to click on files, then go to advanced settings. Under advanced settings, some of the features are turned on by default, whereas some of the features are turned off by default. And there are two sections: preview features and experimental features. You have to scroll down to the experimental features and look for components. You have to switch it on. As soon as you switch it on, then go back to the app, you'd see that now you have two tabs over here: screens and components. And if you go to insert, you would see that there's a button called here components. When you click it, you can either create a new component, import a component, or export a component. Now let's go and click on component so that we can create a new component. We're going to name this as section, and the idea of this component is to create a section that would look similar to how it looks like in CRM, with a rectangle and a heading. So going back to the app, let's change this height to 300. Now let's start adding items in this component. First thing we want is a rectangle. So to add a rectangle, you have to click on icons and then scroll down to rectangle. Now let's expand this to occupy the entire canvas, and let's change the fill color to transparent, and let's make sure the border is marked as solid, and increase the thickness of the border to be 2. Once you have that, let's change the border color to 207, 207, 207. Now this is something that I have experimented with, and then I've come to a conclusion that this is as close as I can get to show a border which looks like how it looks like in CRM. Now once you have that, let's go and add the label. The default font, we need to change it to Joy UI, and then because the way how Canvas app renders in CRM, the font, if you set the font to 13 or 14, it would look too big because it shows according to your screen resolutions and stuff. So what I would like to do is I would like to start with 9, go small, and then increase it if you want to later on. And let's expand it so that we can fit a title as big as the space. And let's make the height as auto height. Now let's go and add another rectangle. Now This rectangle is what we would be creating our, I would be creating a line out of this rectangle. Let it touch the section and change the color to 56, 56 and 56. It's too dark. And make the height as 2. Once you have the items added to the section, let's go and rename the items. So this would be my line, this would be my title, and this is the entire rectangle. Now this line, I need some padding and it should not touch the border, but I also want to make it more dynamic so that if the height and width are changed, then the line shrinks according to the height and width of the entire component. To do that, I'm going to select the line and I'm going to change its width to be section, which is the name of the component, dot width, and I want 20 points shorter than whatever the width is. So it's going to be section dot width minus 20. That would be the width of the line. Now you have a component. Let's see how it looks like on the screen. So go back to the screen and then say click on add component, and then you would see that the section component is now appearing here. So click it. There you go. You have the component. Now let's go a little further and then make some dynamic changes, because right now if I want to change the text, there's no way I can change the text. So let's see if that's possible. To make that happen, if you observe, there are some custom properties added to the component, and these are the custom properties that we would be using. First custom property that I'm going to add is I want to change the title dynamically. So I'm going to add title, and here is the data type. So the data type for the title would be text, but if you want to change it, you have number of other options here as well. So I'm going to keep it to text for now. Second property custom property that I want to add to the component is the width of the entire section. So I'm going to put section width. And that's going to be a number. And the third property is going to be section height. And that's going to be number as well. Okay. Now I want to make the component as well as the rectangle shrink in size based on the custom properties. So first I'm going to select the rectangle and then I'm gonna select rectangles width, and to make it dynamic I'll have to use the same concept. Type the name of the component, which is section in this case, dot section width, and for the height it's gonna be section dot section height. So I've got this modified. Same goes for section as well. So it's going to be section width is going to be section dot section width, and then height is going to be section dot section height. Now if you observe, the line is also changing based on the height and width of the section, so it's kind of dynamic. If you go back to screen, you can see that it's reduced in size. Now let's go and first make the width and height a little bigger. I want 300 by 300. And I want to change the title to say contact information. Oh, we didn't add the dynamic value to the text. So let's go back in the components to the section title. Now if you see, the section title is too long, and it's not shrinking as per the size of the section. So let's do that first. So the width is going to be section dot section width minus 40, and make it semi-bold. Okay, now we would like to do the text to display as per the custom property. So section dot title. If you go back, now you can see contact information getting populated on the section, and if you increase the size, it just messes things up. Now if I change the height and width here, if you see, it's the sections are not displaying properly, and then it's causing issues. So how to avoid that problem and still keep the section width and height populated? So let's go back to the component, and the rectangle, instead of having section dot section height, it should be section dot height. So what you're saying here is change the section height based on the custom properties, and if the section's height is, or the component's height is changing, then change the rectangle height as well. And we would do the same thing for the width. Now if you see, it looks proper, and then if you expand it, it should come out, it should look proper as well. And what this means is, if you now you can maximize and minimize the section however you want to, and it won't mess up your UI. So that's how you use dynamic values. And that's all for today. See you next time. Thank you.